Today we are going to explain the concepts discussed in Carbon Democracy by Timothy Mitchell.
As science and technology developed, society found ways to utilize fossil fuels to improve efficiency and quality of life. The two fossil fuels, coal and oil, affected democracy. Here we define democracy not based on voting, but rather on people being able to make decisions, to shape the course of events, or to actively participate in decision making. In Western Europe, carbon production allowed the workers to empower themselves to make their voices heard, a concept referred to as carbon democracy. One may assume oil production might have had the same influence, but in reality, oil workers faced a harsher reality. In what came to be known as the oil curse, oil producing countries in the Middle East actually tended to be less democratic.
There were four dimensions for the sources of coal and oil that allowed for or impeded unionization. Their methods of extraction, production, transportation, and use. These are dictated by the sources of energy themselves and their characteristics. First, we will start with extraction. How do we get coal and oil? For coal, coal miners extract coal by digging small holes for mine entrances. They work together in dark, hot, cramped areas. These conditions allowed workers to easily communicate their shared complaints to begin unionizing for their own rights. For oil, there is no need for workers to manually retrieve the oil, as the pressure technology brings the oil up through the well to the surface. Nor are there large groups of people working together as workers take on specialized roles of controlling the machineries.
Next, we will discuss the production of coal and oil. Coal is ready to be used as is right after it is extracted. It can be transported for use right away. However, oil needs to be processed once extracted. The crude oil must be refined before it can be used. Coal and oil differ hugely in how they are transported. Coal is a heavy and dense material. It is transported via trains and railways. Transportation of coal were geographically dependent on where the railways could be placed. If desired, workers could strike and physically block railways and transportations of coal, effectively leaving regions without a source of energy. On the other hand, oil is a light and fluid material. It can be transported by ships or pipelines. Oil workers would struggle to impede oil transportation as it is difficult to physically halt the transportation.
Lastly, how oil and coal are used can be compared. Coal must be manually placed by workers in order for it to be burned. Oil, on the other hand, uses machinery to directly be pumped. Both processes are then used as a form of energy source. With coal, it was easier to stop its production. When the coal miners went on a strike, it prevented the flow of energy across Europe since there were no workers to do the job. The organized coal workers disrupted the coal-based energy system networks that helped shape the kind of mass politics and energetics of democracy. Because of the value of coal in society, miners leveraged this to get higher wages and more benefits. The coal strikes by miners allowed science and technology to shift existing power relations.
Properties of oil did not allow for representative democracy as coal did. At no point of oil production are large numbers of workers present together, leading to difficulties in choking the energy source. This contributed to a loss of representative democracy. Because they were unable to communicate their discontent amongst themselves, they could not form unions to fight for rights. Additionally, the inability to halt oil production meant workers could not leverage anything to make their voices heard.
In summary, their unique characteristics influenced the workers' abilities or inabilities to cause social disruption. There was a link between coal and rise of mass politics and between oil and organizing limits to democratic politics. As seen by coal production, democracy came as a result of power struggles. Yet as our dependency on oil increases, there is a loss of democracy. Powerful oil companies begin to expand their powers into the political sphere, leading into a loss of true mass democracy.